This is a reading of Chapter 3, Section 3 for 7th grade social studies. So we're going to learn how the Constitution is an enduring document. Have you ever heard the word endure before? That means that you are withstanding something for a long period of time. If you've ever heard of some of the races that are big nowadays, like the Tough Mudder or the Spartan race, those are called endurance races because the people who take part in them have to go through many obstacles. We're going to see how our Constitution has gone through its own endurance race in our reading today. Couple terms we need to remember. The first one is an amendment. This is a written change to the Constitution. To repeal something is to cancel it, and the Cabinet are members of the executive departments who also act as presidential advisors, which mean helpers to the president. Section 3, an enduring document. We all know that things change over time. For example, new technologies like computers and cell phones are now common parts of our daily lives. This creates a situation that the framers of the Constitution never even thought about. Even so, they believed that the basic guidelines of the Constitution could withstand or endure such changes. The framers expected that our system of government might need to adapt to change over time. For this reason, they planned ahead and included a process for making amendments, or changes, for the Constitution. This has happened only 27 times in the history of the United States. Fun facts, we have the oldest Constitution on record. So it's a pretty special document. Passing an amendment takes a great deal of both time and effort. First, Congress can propose an amendment only if 2/3 of both houses vote in favor of it. Likewise, legislatures in 2/3 of the states can vote in favor of an amendment and ask Congress to call a national convention. Next, the proposed amendment needs to be ratified or approved by 3/4 or 75% of the states. This can be done by state legislatures or at special state conferences. This same two-step process, proposal and ratification, can be used to repeal, which means cancel, a previous amendment. The Constitution also sets some pretty broad guidelines for governing. Because of this, some changes in the government occur through custom and tradition. For example, George Washington began the practice of holding meetings of the president's cabinet, or advisors. Since no law actually requires a tradition like these are often called the unwritten Constitution. Congress needs to carefully consider the Constitution when it creates new laws on issues. For example, Congress believed that the Constitution allowed it to set a minimum wage for workers in the USA. The Supreme Court agreed with it. If the Supreme Court rules against a law, Congress needs to rewrite it so that it agrees with the Constitution. Otherwise, the court's decision is going to be final, and the law would not take effect.